to the Dave Ramsey Crazies. It's your boy Philip, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about baby step 4. So, of course, it's been a while since I've actually gotten back into this, but I kind of want to get back into it again and be a little bit more, into the videos, right? So I want to start making more. I want to be more faithful to making videos for you guys. Right now, it's just a small, very, very small watching video. Don't have a lot of people, but in time, I'd like to be able to build up, all right? I'd like to be able to have subscribers. I'd like to be able to learn things. I'd like to be able to teach things. And so right now, this is the only way I really know how to actually get out there. Maybe someday we can build up to this and we can, start looking at some real finances. And I can show you about some investments that maybe that you've shown me or helped me with, or, things that maybe I learned that I can teach. But today I want to talk about baby step 4, which is most important to me in the entire process of the 7 baby steps. Baby steps 1, 2, and 3 are fundamental. Okay, that gets you to the point to where we can actually really get to our wealth building, okay? Baby step 3, we were talking about saving money for the emergency fund, the fully funded emergency fund, all right? And that is really where you get your first little bit of positive net worth. That's real cash. Of course, baby step 1, we're at $1,000. So that's not a lot because we're still in debt. Baby step 2, we get rid of all of our debt except the house. And now baby step 3, we've actually got a significant amount of money set up so that if there is an emergency, it's there and you have cash, and that is there and that's able to be used. Now baby step 4 is where that net worth thing, where your finances really start to take flight. Okay, so here it is. Baby step 4. Invest 15% into retirement. Okay, so now there's a lot of ways to do this. There's Roth IRA, there's 401k, there's just personal investing. You can do mutual funds or individual single stock. A lot of different ways that you can do this. Okay, the main ways really go through 401k. We're going to touch on this very, very briefly, okay? Most people go onto 401ks because generally there's an employer match, okay? Where I used to work at the dealership, there was an okay match plan. It wasn't great, and it wasn't something that I'd go brag about to other people if we were trying to compare. Not that we would actually do that, but, they had a plan where they would match half up to 2%. So if I had $100,000 income and I put in, $4,000 or 4%, they'd give me 2%, right? And so that's kind of how the match would work, and they would put up to 2%. So if I made $100,000 and put in $10,000, they'd still only put in $2,000. So it's something, and it shouldn't be taken lightly. I mean, that's free money. Where I'm at now, it's got a little bit of a better plan where they actually have a much more significant match. They'll do up to 10% on my 401k, and that's where I work. That's public information, so that's not something that I'm trying to tell you in my business. And that's if you go to where I work, their website, they actually advertise in the employment section for benefits that they do that. So they do have a really good 401k plan if you really want to get into it. So 15%. At this point, you don't have any debt except for your house, and at that point, that should be manageable. It should be under control. And now you should have a little bit of money to be able to play with, because you no longer have these small debts such as credit cards or larger debts such as a car. So putting in 15% of your income really does a lot for you. In fact, I've got my iPad here, right here next to me, and I'm going to kind of go over a few numbers with you about investing and why it's so important for all of us to do it. So I have an app. It's called Interest Calculator. It's always fun to be able to use it to just kind of calculate if your investments are, doing well or doing poorly. So it's an older app, but I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna let you see it just like this, even though it does appear to be backwards. So it shows you your numbers. What it says on the top left is your current balance. So if you've already got money in there, your annual addition, so how much money you're going to be putting in there, years to grow, how long you're going to keep it there, and your interest rate. And then what it'll do is it'll calculate all these numbers together, and it'll show you what the value will be of that account in however long a time period. The one thing it doesn't really do is doesn't really show like a calculator that shows year 1, year 2, year 3, but that's not necessarily a big deal because this is supposed to be for the long call. Um, I'm going to get into a little bit of this here in a minute, but just want to touch one more thing. Dave does recommend Roth IRAs. Okay, so Roth IRA, you put it in after you've paid your taxes and it grows tax free. 401k, you put it in before your taxes, so it's tax deferred, and then when you take it out when you're 65, then at that point, that's when you start to pay taxes on that money. So the reason David would recommend a Roth IRA is just because it grows tax free. With the 401k, although it does become tax deferred, it is something he recommends because a lot of times you get a company match. And, like in my case, if they'll give me back 10% of my income, that's huge. That could be a lot of money in somebody's pocket for a very minimal investment, depending on what you do. So anyway, let's look at some numbers. We're going to pretend that we're starting fresh. I'm 23 years old, so I'm going to give you my numbers. Okay, I'm not necessarily give you my income numbers, but I'm just going to give you some numbers to look at. So my current balance, let's just pretend it's zero. And, because 15%, let's just say my household income is $100,000. It's not, but let's just say it is, just for the sake of round numbers. If I say like 10%, that's a tenth of 100, which is $10,000. So we're going to say we're doing the 15%, just like Dave Ramsey suggests, and I make $100,000 a year. That means I'm putting in 15%, which is $15,000 every single year towards this plan. Okay, and let's just pretend that there's no match. We're just going to do the 15%. Okay, well, I'm going to not graduate. Wow, I don't know what I'm saying. In 42 years is about when I'd be expected to retire at age 65. So the way I'm doing this, 15,000 a year, 42 years to grow at a let's do a low interest rate just to start so we can kind of get the idea of how powerful compound interest is. Okay, so before I even put in an interest rate, it already took that $15,000 a year that I was putting it in, multiplied it times 42 years, and it came out to $630,000. So let's just go ahead and do this. Let's just say, even if you don't gain any interest off of it, that's $630,000 over 42 years that's been earned. So that in and of itself is a huge start. Okay, so let's just start out at 5%, just because that's a low number and that's easily attainable in the stock market today. So at 15,000 a year, 42 years at 5%, that investment would turn into about $2,129,900. Okay, now let's jump up to 8%. That nearly $2.2 million now turns into $4.9 million. Okay, and now we're just going to make it simple. We're just going to do 4.5 or whatever. Let's do 10%. 10% turns into $8.87 million. Okay, so now it's really growing. It's getting some good growth here. And that was at 10%, right? Yes, I was at 10%. That's $8.87 million. Just to show an idea what the 1% will do, 11%. So it goes from 8.87 to $11.97 million. Okay, that 1% is a huge deal when you're in your latter years. So we'll do 12%, which goes from 11.97 to 16.2, right? And then let's just do what Dave always talks about is 15%, as like a general max, okay? And it turns into $40 million, $15,000 a year. Say, hey, I don't make $100,000 a year. What if I've only got $2,000? Okay, we'll do $2,000 a year, right? And we're going to do the same numbers, and we're going to do 5%. $2,000 a year for 42 years at 5% brings in about $284,000 of worth in 42 years. But look, 5%, it's on the lower spectrum. Okay, let's do 10%. All right, it's not going to be double. It's not going to be $500,000. It's going to turn into $1.18 million. We'll do 12% and then 15%. 12% turns into $2.16 million. All right, and 15% turns into $5.41 million. Okay, so the amount of money here that you can make off that little bit of investment really grows. All right, compound interest is basically when your money starts making money, and that money starts making money. So, just as a quick example to explain compound interest, say you have $100 at 10%. Okay, that $100 and 10% is going to turn out to 110%, $110 after a full year because you've earned that 10%. Now, compound interest is going to take place in the second year. And so you're going to have your $100, you're going to have your $10, right? So the next year, you're getting another $10 for the $100 that you had in there. Then you're getting 10% on the $10 that you also had in there. So next year, you'd have $121 because you get your $10 in interest from the 100, then you'd gain another dollar from that $10 the previous year that I had earned. So that's how it works. And then over 40 years, of course, it's a mathematical explosion, as Dave likes to put it. And that's how you can build your wealth. That's baby step 4. Now, this is where your wealth starts to build, okay? It's pretty obvious when we went over those numbers just how quickly, in 42 years, a small investment can really, really do a lot. When you don't have debt, you have the ability to perform things like that. Now, the next couple of baby steps 5, 6, and 7, we're going to touch on, college for the kids. We're going to talk about paying off the house. And then finally, the best thing is once you've built your wealth and how you can use it to give it to others. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.